Hey everybody, welcome to a Transport Evolved live stream. I don't normally do live streams on this main channel, and that's for a really good reason, mostly that a lot of you don't like them, and we try and make content that makes sense for everybody to enjoy, and content that everybody can get something from. Today is going in so much as we need to talk about something that seems to be happening with the channel, and I don't have a huge amount of proof that it is happening, but I want to let you know about it because some things have been happening lately with Transport Evolved that have made me and the rest of the team take stock and go, what's happening? So we'll start with the fact that over the last couple of months, we've had Patreon supporters who have stopped being Patreons because they didn't think we were making any content. Now let's just let that sink in for a second. We make one video every day that we make YouTube content. We make one video for our main channel every day, and we now make one video for Take Two a week, and then we do 8 videos for the Transport Evolved TE Shorts channel. We actually moved our TE Shorts to a new channel because we thought that was going to solve one of these problems that we are experiencing. But now it seems to be that it is deeper and maybe more insidious than that. And so I want most of you, if you're watching this, will already be subscribed, will already have your notification bells turned on. But I'm hoping that you can spread the word. I'm not at a point where I'm going to make baseless accusations against people, but there now appears to be significant evidence to suggest that our channel is somehow having its content soft banned or moved or ignored, is a better way of putting it. So over the last this is something someone just said, this is the first video from you in months. No, we've been making videos every single day. Here's what I think is happening. Transport Evolved appears to be banned, soft banned, shadow banned, whatever you want to call it. In addition to people saying we have not seen content from you and therefore we're stopping our Patreon support, we've also had people go, I tried sharing your video on Twitter and your content's not showing up. I've tried to share your videos on Facebook and it did not show up. People saying that we're not showing up on their YouTube recommended list, on their subscription list, on their, even people who have the notification bells are not seeing our videos. And that's causing us some problems because it means that our view count has absolutely plummeted in the last month. Our subscriber rate has dropped and our income is dropping because people are not watching our content, then we're not earning money from it. And I don't want to be kind of amateur dramatic about this. And additionally, I'm not going to talk about it to any great length because I'm doing a live debate at noon with Ricky over at 2-Bit Da Vinci on his channel. So go check that out in a moment. But some of you in the chat are saying, I'm not seeing your video notifications. Now, here's what I think is happening. We are starting to get inundated, literally inundated, with some really truly obnoxious people trying to make life difficult for us on social media and trying to make life difficult for us in the content section. People are saying that making accusations about our staff and the team, which are not true, which is fine. That's fairly common when you get fairly well known. You know, I'm not going to beat about the bush with regard to that. But I think our Twitter stream and our Facebook stream is being reported by people as whatever as not being suitable content, and therefore our content is not being recommended to people because I think people are purposely reporting our content. Now, based on a couple of comments we've had lately in our various social media networks, I believe that it's a fairly small group of people who are trying to discredit the channel for reasons that I think are probably fairly obvious. I think that when we do try and share a video link, sometimes shared properly. Based on some of the chat that's coming up here, they're saying they're not getting notifications. Some of you are. Some of you get daily notifications. Some of you say you haven't been getting notifications. And I think one of the challenges for this is we need your support, because without the revenue from YouTube, without the support from the community, people will continue to try and make us look bad. It came to the fore this week, honestly, with the F-150 video that we did. We have had a lot of backlash from that. Winter did a really excellent video on autopilot, and we had a lot of backlash on that. On Twitter, I had personal email, people actually finding my email and writing to my personal email, complaining. And JP, yeah, JP has just said something in the chat. I'm gonna, yeah, it probably is a group of fanboys from a certain group. And I think all I can ask you to do is turn on the notifications for this channel. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. Please subscribe to Transport Evolved Take 2. Please subscribe to Transport Evolved Shorts. And if you can, watch Shorts on a YouTube browser. And I know this sounds ridiculous and stupid, but YouTube has changed its monetization policy now so that you can only monetize videos once you've got 1,000 subscribers, which you've got, and 4,000 views of watch time. But shorts don't count to that watch time. So if you build a channel just for shorts, the watch time for shorts on a mobile phone doesn't count. Only shorts watched on a browser counts, which kind of goes counter to the whole idea of shorts. But we cannot earn any money from that shorts channel until we've had 4,000 hours of watching of our shorts on a browser. Isn't that ridiculous? That is just the stupidest thing. Thank you for your hard work, says Steve. Thank you, Steve. Someone says, Francisco says, I do get your notifications. I do see your videos regularly. Some people saying they don't. But yeah. Jared says the F-150 video was a Ford commercial. No, it was stating the facts. Okay, so, and I don't have time to go over this in huge detail, but I will tell you, kind of without getting defensive, when a car is launched, we have an option. We can talk about the car being launched and go, this company has launched this new car. Here's what we know about it. Ford was forward thinking enough to actually make sure that all the companies, all the journalists, all the influencers, all the YouTubers had access to the information about the truck 2 or 3 days before, which meant we were able to go over the specs. We were able to watch the briefings and then come up with a really in-depth video, which is what we made. Our job is to pass on the facts in that point. This is reporting. This is how reporting works. We're giving information, we find information, we digest that information, and then we pass it on to you. We noted in that video that the Ford F-150 is going to be a really big big deal because of its existing customer base, because it's so popular as a truck model, and because of the fact that it's going to use existing mounting, so all of the third-party stuff is just going to work. It's got a huge customer base. And as Ford, there was an interview yesterday that I retweeted from my personal account talking about the fact that Ford is basically leveraging economies of scale that very few automakers can leverage on any particular model to make the F-150 as affordable as it's going to. It's not an ad if I am positive about it, and it's not. We try our hardest to be as impartial as we possibly can be. And I find it hilarious that whenever we talk about Tesla, we're accused of being negative on Tesla, even when we're being positive. And when we talk about another car company, if we're not negative about the car company, we're accused of being paid by the company. Brings me to the source, I think, and the reason, I think, for everything else that's going on, namely that we are being reported by a very small group of petty individuals who are trying very hard to make our life difficult, or may not survive. And fanboyism doesn't do any favors for anybody. And you have to remind yourself, is it more important that somebody drives a particular make and model of vehicle, or is it more important that they make that transition to electric? And for me right now, the most important thing is to stop people driving internal combustion engine vehicles, because that's the biggest challenge right now. And all of those other things can come later, like examining how people use the vehicles. Do they really need a big vehicle? Do they need a smaller vehicle? Do they need a do they need to behave in a certain way? I will tell you, though, that these attacks have happened in the last sort of 4 to 6 weeks. They seem to be increasing. And I believe that they are being, I believe that there are people reporting, because sometimes we'll put a tweet up and it'll work. Like the link will work for a few minutes and then it'll stop working, which makes me think that someone is just maliciously reporting it. And it's really disheartening for everybody at the company. And I am working very hard to make sure that everybody has a job. Winter is moving to the West Coast. Kit is moving to the West Coast. Kate is on the payroll. Erin is on the payroll. I am on the payroll at the bottom. I pay myself the least of anybody at the company. And I want to make great content. I want to make honest content, and I want to acknowledge and be true to the things that a lot of channels aren't covering. The fact that there is a lot of inequality in our transportation. There is a lot of inequality in electric vehicles. There is a lot of disparity between what we hope will happen and what's actually happening. There are different worlds, and we all have to acknowledge that there's no one size fits all for everybody. This is a solution. We have to have multiple solutions for multiple people. And I think what we saw this week from Ford was a solution for a different group of people to people who buy Cybertruck. What we see from car companies is very often a group effort to see a different type of vehicle. If you go to Europe, the type of electric vehicles being sold in Europe are very different to the type of electric vehicles being sold in the United States. And that's partly for cultural reasons. That's partly for practical reasons. It's partly because of what's available in the market, partly because of legislative reasons. But we have to remember that there are so many different people in the world, and we're all different people. And we're all going to have different goals and aspirations and needs and wants and desires. And so we have to have a really broad, wide electric vehicle representation in the marketplace. This is not about beating or winning. This is not about passing out grudges. People who are interested in grudge matches really disgust me, and I have no interest in serving their needs. So I hope that this video goes some way to explain, if you've been wondering why there's not been any content, what's been going on. There has been content. We've been making a video every single day for months now. So go back and watch our content if you haven't. If you see our stuff on see if you see our stuff online and you can't retweet it or whatever, let us know, because we'd love to know how big this problem is. On my worst and darkest days, I'm ready to hand it in. I'm ready to give up. I'm not going to, but I must say that the reason I got into cleaner, greener, safer, and smarter transport wasn't to be a YouTuber, wasn't to become well known, wasn't to make money. It was to make the world a cleaner, greener, safer, and smarter place, to give every single person the information that they need to make their own decisions. You're smart people. You don't need me to tell you that you should be going electric or which car you should be buying. You should be looking at this from a pragmatic point of view. And the final thing is, acknowledge that there are disparities and differences. I'm just about to jump in this chat, and in literally 5 minutes, come and join me over on Ricky's channel on 2-Bit Da Vinci. We're going to be live in 5. And one of the things that I think we have to acknowledge is that there are so many different people how do I put this? Different people look for different things in cars. Okay. I'm sure in a minute I will clash horns with Alex from for Electric about the Volkswagen ID4. I don't want to talk about it in depth because our review hasn't gone live yet. But my review is that it's not right. Likes it, and I suspect I like it less than he does. But the reason is that I'm more about driving experience than I am about gadgets, and that's okay. He likes gadgets. Experiences, both of those are valid reasons to want to buy a car. And I think we have to remember that this tribalism is dangerous for everybody, and it does nobody any good. I don't know if folks are deliberately reporting this. I have a suspicion. It could just be the algorithm. Maybe it is just the algorithm. And I hope it is just the algorithm. But help us beat whatever is causing this. Help us beat it. Subscribe to us. Hit the notification bell. Thank you to the wonderful people who've been sending us tips. I'm sorry I didn't shout out to Fixie Clary, and also to there was another one just a few seconds ago. Frank. So thank you very much to you guys. I hope that we get around this. Some of you are saying that you're seeing we're seeing issues, and sometimes you're not. Do you have low bandwidth? Sometimes I have low bandwidth and quality and buffering. No, we should be doing 4K. All right, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go over and say hello to everybody in the debate over on 2-Bit Da Vinci with Ricky and the rest of the guys. But I will see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Keep evolving.